Hello, the purpose of this video is to show a property that we purchased from the MLS buying machine and show it from the beginning of when it came into our system all the way through to when we purchased it and all the steps that happened along the way. So here's the property, 6628 Oak Branch Court in Citrus Heights, California. It was entered into the system on September 11th. It was entered in, and then my VAs did comps on it, and they came out with the after repair value at 528, which in this case actually came out to be right about where the value is, or where I estimated it to be, between 530 and 550. I think conservatively it's going to be 530, but could be in the 550 and over range, but we will see. We're still in the process right now fixing it up, so we don't know. But here's where the offer came out to be, 390. And the repairs came out to be a little high. Actually, our repairs on this were 42. So in this offer calculation, our number came in at 390. It was listed for sale at 495, and our first offer was at 490. And you can see here's where that offer is right here. Okay. And then we then followed up with a text after we sent the offer. And then he responded back, Amy followed up with him, and then she then ran a comp here and noticed this comp, that it's a little bit bigger, same size yard. He then sent, looks like a multi-counter a couple days later here. That multi-counter was for, I think, 425, and then we countered back and forth and we ended up in contract for 430. And then I immediately sent my contractor out there, and my contractor came out with a bid amount of 42. And then I ran numbers here based upon a couple of conservative estimates. The ARV at 530, which I think it can be at 550 or above, but I put it at 530 also because we'd be buying based upon August and July comps and selling possibly in December, and I wanted to be conservative on the ARV. I also added in an extra margin there because I was afraid of a little bit of pullback in price, because rates at this time when I was buying in mid-September, rates kept going up. So I wanted to give myself a little bit extra cushion room there too. So I increased my margin from 50 to 70. And then the 11K is the selling costs to an agent, buyer's agent of 2%. And the 15K is it's the holding costs. So all those totaled 141, and 530 minus 141 equals 397. Now I'm also going to be getting 2% back, which is around $8,000. So that would go on to margin as well. In this case, 78K if we sold it for 530. So what happened was we did the inspection, and these numbers came out. But I was in contract for 420. I was in contract for 425. So I then asked for a reduction to 397. And here's the email I sent. After conducting our inspections, calculating repair costs, and looking at the CMA local market, we're having to drop our purchase price. If this is not suitable for your client, then we can cancel. If it is suitable, then we can continue forward with our closing time frame and waive all contingencies. Our revised purchase price will need to be $397. So they accepted it. So $397 is what we went into escrow on. It's what we closed on. Here are the files that were attached here. There's our combo box and our SMUD account number. There's that multi-counter that was added. I added multi-counter there rather than counter is what happened. I updated this note so you can see everything that's happening along the way. Yeah, interesting. So this note was way down here, but I switched the name. I switched it from counter to multi-counter just earlier yesterday, and it brought the note all the way up to here is what happened here. All right, so that's what happened there. So let's go ahead and go over to comps here. So this is the house right here that was purchased. Okay, and how I like to run comps is I like to be in the direct neighborhood. So in California, in it's maybe the case in your area as well, a neighborhood like just one street over could be a couple $100,000 more for many different reasons. So for example, this neighborhood here could be $100,000 more. So what I like to do is stay really tight to the neighborhood, really tight to the main streets, within the main street boundaries, and run comps there. So I don't want to just go a quarter mile or half mile out, because in this case, you know, a quarter mile out could actually pull from across the freeway, which could be a completely different market, and even a different city in some cases, depending on city boundaries. So need to be real careful though. So I like to stay tight here. In this case, also what I notice here is when I bought the house, there was very few actives, and it's even gotten worse in my market right now. In this is the recording here is November 17th, 2023. So if we go ahead and click on one grid view here, there's only one active, and that active is the one on the freeway that we looked over there. It's been on the market for 97 days. So that's not really indicative of the house, it's the location backing right up to the freeway. So you can see here, this is the house that was purchased on Branch. You can see it's definitely the lowest comp that was sold over the last 6 months. Square footage at 1782. It's also the newest property in this neighborhood as well, which is going to be good for resale as well. And so here's where I had it landing right around in this range right here. Here's our highest direct comp at 1493, similar lot size, a little bit older, but definitely 200 square feet smaller, and that sold for 530. So I think we can be up in the 540, 550 range now looking at this, especially with there being no actives. So this just shows that even in a market with very little inventory, very little actives, it's still possible to get the lowest comp in a neighborhood and still get deals on MLS. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. Bye-bye.